guys, so today I thought we would talk about all things garden. I want to give you some of my tips and tricks so that you can avoid some of the mistakes I have made over the years. We are going to go through some of the main plants in my garden, and I'm going to give you some advice. If you like things like this, be sure to push the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out in the future. And please comment if you have anything to add to what I'm saying. I would love to learn all the things. So let's get started. Okay guys, so let's talk garden basics first. We talked about a prepared pantry. A prepared garden is so important. It's that next level, stage 2 of preparedness, being able to just grow your own food in a natural, organic, good for you kind of way, and just accessible for your family. So let's go over some of the basics. Step 1, where are you going to put your garden? You want somewhere with at least 5 to 8 hours of full sunlight. You really want as much of it as you possibly can. There are even apps on your phone that you can buy to help you determine the path of sun over your garden, so you can make sure that corn is not blotting out the sunlight for your jalapenos. So there are all sorts of tools these days that are accessible to you to help you figure out where is the best place to put your garden. And it doesn't have to be a huge garden. It can be in pots, it can be in raised garden beds. You can make it work for you. Next thing, don't buy all of the crazy weird things like me. Really try to stick to what your family actually eats. If your family's not going to eat eggplant, don't buy 20 eggplants. A lot of people, tomatoes is a big crop. That's going to be your salsa and your pasta sauces. Really important for preparedness. That pasta sauce for all of that pasta we have in the pantry, and that's so easy to make. I'm going to go over that with you at some point. So for me, a lot of tomatoes, a lot of corn. My children love corn. The jalapenos for the salsa, the garlic for the salsa, sweet potatoes my family really likes. Stick to what your family likes. Don't buy all the crazy things, and buy those seeds early on, because that's when they're going to be the cheapest. Don't wait until prime time, peak price. Plan for your garden. And that's another thing. Don't only plan for your seeds in the garden, but plan for your gardening tools. What tools are you going to need to make this garden successful? For me, it's that plastic paper, because I don't want to be out here pulling weeds for 5 hours a day because it is amazing how quickly an area will take back a garden if you don't get rid of those weeds. Those weeds can really damage your fruits and veggies. So for me, that plastic wrap, that lets me pull weeds for 5 minutes a day, maybe. There's just 1 or 2 around those little holes. It's really not hard at all. That's really important to me as a mama of 6 children. No time for that. So that, and the next thing would be the water. I have a drip irrigation system. I have found a lot of these veggies really like their roots soaked in water. They don't want to be pounded down with water. With your tomatoes, we'll talk about, they do not like water from the top. Do not pour water on your tomatoes. They will not like you, and you will not get as many tomatoes. They really deal with a lot of different soil contaminants. So we'll get into that in a second. But so no water from the top. Water. I have been trying to link products below in the description that I use. If you're looking for some good things, I'll put my favorites below. If a drip irrigation system isn't something that you're ready to do right now, and I do encourage you, it's actually easier than it looks. It all snaps together. So another good tool, if you can't do that, is just to get one of those, a really good sprinkler. I'll list my favorite one below. Don't get some plastic cheap one that breaks, because especially if you're in a situation where you really need this garden to grow, you don't want your tools to be breaking. So I'll list a good one below, and that's something you can just move around a couple times so that watering's not consuming your life. But it's also really important whenever you're planting your plants to push down on the plant and make sure there are no air pockets. And that's another reason why after you do that and you push down, no air pockets, it's planted, water it in just in case there's some air pockets left, so that all the soil goes together, so that there's no room for bacteria and contaminants to grow. There's a lot of issues that can happen if there are air pockets down there. So you want to make sure it is planted firmly. Also make sure that you've planned for your harvest. Make sure that you have bought your tools. Over the past 2 years, we saw those canning jars and canning lids. Oh my goodness, the canning lids were impossible to find. So plan early, plan ahead. If you see the jars that you're going to want, if you see the lids you're going to want, if you need canning tools, get them now. Get them before that fall harvest comes and everyone else is getting them, especially after when people are talking about food shortages and issues arising. People buy scared. So don't be in a situation where you are buying scared and can't find what you need. Buy early and plan ahead. Fertilizer. Fertilizer is really important. You don't need to fertilize your garden constantly. You will burn it, you will kill it. But early on, before there's fruits, before they start to bloom, fertilize them really good, heavy with nitrogen. Nitrogen is found in manure. So for us, we have our chickens and our bunny rabbits, and we just get those little pellets and we put them in our dirt and mix it in early on when we're planting it, and that heavy nitrogen will really help it. With your tomatoes, they like some early calcium, which is found in the egg my daughter planted with her tomatoes that I've talked about before. They also like some of the good stuff from a banana peel, and you'll hear people talk about often with most plants, banana peel water. Put those old banana peels in your water jug, and that's a really good thing to water with. They enjoy that. Okay, first let's talk about tomatoes. How do you get all of these beautiful tomatoes on your tomato plant? Okay, first of all, tomatoes love that consistent water schedule. They like to know when they're going to get their water. They want it in the morning, and they want it at night, and they want it every day. Don't overwater, but consistently water them at the roots. Like I said, they do not like water at the top. They are very prone to diseases and contaminants from the soil. They don't like you pouring water on top and the soil splashing up on their leaves. They're more likely to get a disease and die. They also really enjoy, and I need to do it to this one, being pruned at the bottom. Get all of those leaves off the bottom. See, this one's dying at the bottom. It needed, it needed to be pruned. But get out here with your little pruners and cut all of the leaves off the bottom. They love airflow. They love to go up and bushy with all of your tomatoes. And like I said, if you're not watering consistently as well, it can mess up their calcium. Calcium is really important for tomatoes. So airflow, pruning, and no matter what you hear, don't go and chop off the top of your tomatoes. They will stop growing. They will grow at the bottom, but they won't grow any more up if you chop off the tops. You also want to make sure you have that good tomato cage to hold them up. I would love to go in depth about tomatoes, because tomatoes, there's so much science to it. If you would like me to make a video just about tomatoes, let me know in the comments. But for now, the simple things: water at the bottom, soak those roots, cut off the suckers on the bottom, keep the airflow good, and consistency. Consistency. And don't keep fertilizing throughout the season. Fertilize early on, well, and leave it alone. Okay, so jalapenos, we gotta have that yummy salsa, right? This little jalapeno plant is actually starting to struggle because it has just gotten very hot in Texas, and jalapenos really enjoy being above 70 but not over 90 degrees. When it hits 90 degrees, they will wilt and they will drop their flowers, and they will just hold on for dear life to live through that heat. And when the heat disappears, they will come back too, but you will have lost some of the fruit for the season. So one of the ways you can counter that is by putting a shade cloth over it, which is what I need to do with this little one here, and just take some of the stress and pressure off of it. So it likes it, like I said, it likes it warm and toasty, but not above 90. I understand that. I like it warm and toasty and not above 90 myself. So that's what it needs. And just like most of the vegetables, and it's very similar to the tomatoes in that it really likes its roots soaked, but not necessarily a bunch of water from the top. So it really likes that drip irrigation. It also likes consistency, like the tomatoes. It wants to know when it's getting its water. It likes a good soak in the morning and a good soak at night. it is necessary to think about where you are planting your jalapenos. They will easily cross-pollinate with other pepper plants. So if you plant your jalapeno next to a banana pepper, your jalapenos will be more mild and your banana peppers will be more spicy. If that doesn't matter to you, that's okay. I actually have both going on. I have little jalapeno plants by themselves, and I have some jalapenos on the other side next to some banana peppers, and I'm okay with that. But that is something to consider if it matters to you. Okay, let's talk about these eggplants, which I'm so excited about. I love eggplant. I don't know if my family's excited about it, but I am. I'm gonna make eggplant parmesan, and they're gonna like it. So I'm so excited about this. So with your eggplant, you want to plant them about 12 inches apart. They don't like to be stressed. If they're stressed, they will not produce as much fruit. So you want to keep them as stress-free as possible by giving them their own little space, not too crowded by everyone, so they can do their little thing. They do need 5 to 7 hours of full sun, and one of the most important things about eggplant is when you pick it, because it's so hard. If you leave it on too long, it will get really hard and yucky, and you don't want to pull it too soon before it's met its full potential. When it is ripe though, you can push on it and it will leave an indentation. It won't pop back. It'll be somewhat easy to do, and it will stay, and that means it's ripe, and you need to pick it then, because like I said, you don't want to ruin it by leaving it on too long. Okay. Now, let's talk about basil, because I am all about those pesto sauces and pasta sauces for that pasta in our pantry. Basil, like I've mentioned before, it loves to be pruned. I could chop this basil down and it will just grow back bigger and better. So keep pinching it. I actually need to get out here and pinch all of these little leaves. These are very ready to be pinched. It's perfect. It smells so good. But basil is fairly easy to grow, loves to be cut back. It does need 6 to 8 hours of full sunlight. There is a very specific way that you can prune this to make it all the bushier. I'd love to go in depth with this as well. If you'd like to see that, please comment below. But depending on how you prune it, you can push the hormone, the growth hormone, in different directions to make it just go fuller and bigger and create more leaves. There's also a way to cut it and propagate it to get even more basil plants. I'd love to go in depth with you. But for now, it loves its sunlight. It loves to be pruned. It's really hardy, easy to grow plant. Great for preparedness. Okay, so I live in Texas and we are all about those Texas-sized watermelon. I am so excited. One way, while I'm holding it up to tell when your watermelon is ripe, see right now, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it's really shiny. When your watermelon is ripe and ready to be picked, the color will dull down. There's also a lot of other signs like thumping it and the little tendril next to it going brown. Again, I can go more in depth about watermelons if you want me to. Just let me know. With watermelons on one plant, to not let too many watermelons grow on one plant or they will grow small and not big. They say about 2 watermelons per plant on average is the best. I would agree with this. However, I'm tempted. There are so many watermelons growing on this plant. I'm tempted to leave 4 or 5 and see what happens. I kind of enjoy the little personal sized watermelons. Watermelons are 90% water, so they really do like water. Water them really well. But towards the end of their life, when it's getting near time to pick them, don't overwater your watermelons because they can burst from the water, too much water inside. It also can dilute their flavor and they won't be sweet. And that's where you get one of those, you know, Walmart watermelons that has been overgrown and it looks like it's a good size, but it's not sweet and it's kind of blech. So you really want a sweet, yummy watermelon. So don't overwater at the end of its life. Water a lot early on when you have those blooms and it's new. Saturate it because they are watermelons. Don't underwater them or your plant won't grow. It won't spread. That water really gives it the energy to spread. It also likes to be fertilized early on, but not towards the end. So that's kind of the general rule of thumb. Like I said before, fertilize those plants early on really well. There are male and female flowers, and bumblebees will help you with pollinating. That's why I have all those black-eyed Susans I left there from nature growing to help pollinate. It's a summer crop. They do like 70 degrees or above watermelon summertime. Can't wait to show you when our watermelons are ripe and ready to be picked. I can't wait to harvest everything and show you what has come of this garden. Okay, right here next to me I have an entire row of garlic. I've just planted it, so it's very new. Garlic is one of those easy things to grow. There are some tips and tricks to it, but decently easy to grow. If you are in a colder environment, you'll want to plant them a little bit deeper, 4 to 6 inches down. If you're in a warmer climate, you'll want to plant them about 2 inches in. They can be planted fairly close together. 4 to 6 inches apart is more than enough. I can go into hard neck versus soft neck later. Soft neck has more bulbs. You can get your garlic bulbs and you peel off the outer layer, and it has all these different little cloves inside of it, and you plant them flat side down, pointy side up, and each little clove will turn into a bulb of garlic. And then you can actually save one of those bulbs to plant year after year after year. It is a crop that will keep, and it's good for you. Everyone should have garlic. Like I said, it's easy and it's good for you. You can keep it going. If you buy your garlic from the store, almost all garlic has been bleached and soaked in chlorine. Can you believe it? I just found that out not too long ago, and I was like, oh my goodness, I am so glad I am growing garlic. I've been feeding my family bleached chlorine, so that's not good. And garlic is such a good parasite remover from your body, and as we all know, parasites are such a thing for health. They really affect your health. So garlic, so good to have. Pasta sauces, salsas, I'm really into those this year. That is my thing for canning this fall. You're probably going to see a lot of it. I actually bought my garlic bulbs this year from Amazon, and I will link that below. I had a 90% sprout rate from those bulbs. I highly recommend the seller I bought them from, linked below. Garlic likes a soil that drains well. We do have a sandy loam where I'm at in Texas, which is most desirable. Just remember that and compensate. Again, something I could go more in depth to, but I'm trying to keep this not too long today. And I'm melting. I am melting in the sun and I need to go inside. So this is just a quick, comprehensive, get your garden started guide. I also want to plant elephant garlic soon, so that'll be coming. Okay, so that's garlic. Okay, so I have all of the baby corn behind me in the big garden, but I thought we would go over to my son's more mature corn. Corn is really easy. It's actually considered a grass. Sweet corn, which is what this is the most common to plant. If you want to make it into popcorn, like my little boy does, you leave the husk there and let the kernels harden, and that is how you make popcorn. They need to cross-pollinate with each other, and if you have different varieties, you want to keep them separated from each other because they will cross-pollinate, kind of messing up those flavors. If you're going for two different things, you can plant them 6 to 10 inches apart. They have to, the little silky ends, which these have already closed up, the little silky ends, the pollen has to hit them, and every single kernel of corn has to be pollinated in order to get that full kernel that we all love. That's why sometimes you pick one and there's a few kernels missing. That little kernel didn't get pollinated. So it's really just amazing how God does these things. So the wind pollinates your corn, and we are super excited about all the different squashes and pumpkin varieties going on. I'm not going to talk about those today. I will do that coming up. I will do something a little bit more in depth because fall and fun, and oh my goodness, I am so excited about all the pumpkin things. So next time we'll talk about that. Okay, so be sure to hit the like button if you like things like this, and subscribe to follow along. And if you have anything to add to what I have shared today, be sure to comment, because I would really enjoy to hear if you have any tips or tricks that could help us grow our gardens better. Thank you for being here today, guys. I really appreciate you. I hope your gardens are doing well. I hope you have a fruitful and blessed gardening season. Until next time. They're pretty? Yay. Guys, watermelons. I know it's not. That little cricket's gonna jump on me. No, no. Oh, oh my goodness. Go away. No, no, I have nothing. Ah! Oh my gosh, it just like fell down dead.
Shining bright like a shine, dreaming high like the stars.